A Taste of Eternity. An ayahuasca trip report posted on Erowid on May the 22nd, 2020. I had some bad trips with LSD in my early 20s, so I decided I didn't want to use any psychedelic substance anymore. I started meditating and went on for almost 20 years. But in my 40s, my problems with anxiety and panic attacks came back, stronger than ever. I felt I had to do something different this time. So even though I was terrified, I decided to join an ayahuasca retreat, and that was the best decision I could have made. The experience felt so familiar. I felt like I was back home, and I totally fell in love with it. This was something I had to explore again and again. A few months later, I joined another retreat. 3 ceremonies in 3 nights. Looking back, I can see that the first night was all about purging and cleansing. The second night was about an incredibly precise scanning of my personality and my identity. A search for all the bugs and errors in my internal OS. The third night was about going beyond myself, and it's this last night that I'd like to share. I just drank my cup and was sitting on my mattress. In around 5 minutes, the effects began. I feel like I'm on a shore before a vast ocean, and the little candle in the center of the room is like the sun setting on the horizon, far, far away. I was the last to drink, but the first to purge. I'm vomiting in my trash bag, 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, 4, again and again, maybe for half an hour. I'm looking into the trash bag. I can't see the bottom. It's just a black hole, a well of undisclosed depth in which everything disappears. Then a voice inside my head says, "There's nothing else to heal." The vomiting stops, and I realize that I'm not having any visions. Nothing. This never happened in previous ceremonies, and I doubt it will happen in future ones. It was just an indescribable warm feeling of connection, of relaxing, and melting of all my boundaries. I lie down. My kundalini starts to wake up. This happens every time I drink ayahuasca. My hips start shaking, then vibrating. The frequency rises till I feel a fresh tingling energy going up to my spine, to the center of the back of my head. This fresh energy keeps going up and down, but the back of my head seems to be the operational center, the place that decides and directs everything. But this time is different. This time, it's a force of unknown magnitude. It's like I'm making love to myself. It's a highly sensual energy. Waves of vibrating, fast energy are blasted throughout my body, increasing in strength and frequency. I'm a serpent now. My entire body is bending and vibrating. My face is melting. Tears and mucus and saliva are constantly leaking out. My eyes start rolling asymmetrically in every direction inside my orbits. Every fiber of my being is pushed to its limit. I'm not scared. I trust the Madre. This state goes on and on, at least for an hour, probably more. I'm exhausted, but it doesn't stop. I realize there's a loving presence watching over me. It emanates limitless compassion and unconditional love. But at the same time, it's tough. It's there for a reason. No matter how hard it is for me, it's not there to sugar any pill. It's there for a job that has to be done. I realize at the same time that all this energy going through my body is really trying to tear me apart. It wants to liberate something that I instantly understand is my spirit. It's a huge energy, an incredible power I carry inside of me. We all do. It's like a bomb. It's love. I'm really bursting with love, and the shaking and vibrating is like a violent, relentless passion that serves the aim. Finally, I reach the breaking point. There's a vision, a series of images, like a pile of pictures. They are shown to me. Each one is from the past of the life I'm now living on this planet. They don't necessarily show big events or turning points. For example, one was just the view I had of the living room when I sat on the floor watching television at age 3 or 4 years old. They are in chronological order, from the oldest to the most recent. It's a very quick vision. It lasts half a second, but I can clearly and vividly see and recognize everything impressed on these pictures. I see them all simultaneously. Then they turn to dust and disappear. My chronology has been cancelled. My personal history is gone. 44 years of life in half a second. My ego has been annihilated and is dead now. Everything stops. The shakings, the vibrations suddenly stop. I take a long, profound breath. My eyes come back to their regular position and then roll back again. I don't need my physical eyes anymore to see. I'm in the light. Total, vast, eternal light. It's like staring at the sun. I feel an inexplicable kind of euphoria. I feel joy. I feel calmness. I'm in a blissful, infinite void full of light. It's impossible to describe it with words. It was so impersonal at the same time. I didn't lose myself. I was aware I was in the ceremony room with other people. I knew where I was, but I was in another dimension at the same time. This state was so peculiar because it was stable. The things I see during a ceremony are usually very fast and constantly changing. I can watch them very precisely, but it's a constant flow. It never stops. It can slow down, but everything usually passes by pretty quickly. But this wasn't passing. This was there to stay, like it was the ultimate reality, like it was the place where we come from and we all will go back. It was eternity. From time to time, I touched my eyes because I couldn't figure out if they were open or closed. I tried to use them again, and I could, if I wanted. But then when I did want to, they rolled back, and I instantly returned into that light. After some time, I went to ask for a tiny little cup of ayahuasca, which was given to me, because, hey, who wouldn't prolong that blissful state of consciousness? After drinking that second tiny cup, I came back to my place and kept surrendering to the light. After a while, something started to emerge from it. It wasn't a being or anything that resembled a life form. It was a symbol. It was alive for sure, but that something appeared to me in the form of an equilateral triangle. It made me think of a pyramid. This triangle was white too, but it had some sort of beautiful, glass-like moving reflections on it. Then a little circle appeared on the top of the triangle. I just stayed there, contemplating this form, in full, eternal silence. I couldn't think of anything, and today, after 3 years, I still don't even dare to try to define or name or explain what it was. It was, and that's enough. As the sun began to rise, I slowly came out of that dimension. It stopped when my eyes stopped rolling back. I couldn't sleep. I was really tired, but honestly, I didn't want to lose consciousness over that incredible, strong, warm feeling of joy that was still in me. So I walked out of the facility where we were having the retreat, and just as I went outside, I felt like everything was poured inside of me, like a waterfall. It was like I saw the world for the first time, and it was so beautiful. I fell on my knees and started to cry. It was spring, and everything was so full of life and so benevolent. For the rest of that day, and for the following days, everything was a first. The first time I looked someone in the eyes, the first hug, the first time I ate or drank, everything was new.